Now more than ever, the world needs an honest newsroom. In 2021, pioneering investigative journalist John Solomon partnered with Debbie Myers, a veteran of the entertainment industry, including Discovery, TLC, Gingrich 360, to launch an honest newsroom and to counter the overwhelming media messaging of the far left. They call it Informing America Foundation. IAF works with journalists, researchers, and whistleblowers to report on stories too often ignored or misreported by the mainstream media. Safeguarding free speech, exposing government corruption, combating anti-Semitism, telling the truth about America's energy needs and the green agenda, challenging DEI in the military and in the classroom. These are all tackled in IAF's return to honest, straightforward journalism. And now, in an exciting development, Informing America Foundation is partnering with Univision and John Solomon's news media outlet, Just the News, to launch the first Hispanic conservative news network in the country. That is a big, bold idea. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Peterson family, we'd like to invite Debbie Myers and John Solomon to accept the 2024 Gregor G. Peterson Prize in Venture Philanthropy. Please join me in welcoming. Congratulations.
Thank you. We are just thrilled beyond words. So thank you to the Peterson family. We're very moved and touched. This has been an idea that John had for a while, and we've put into fruition, and we're very excited and proud. Nicole, thank you for your stewardship. So Informing America Foundation, we stay very much under the radar, and we are an ecosystem of local, state, national journalists, investigative reporters, whistleblower centers, FOIA centers, and we meet every morning, 9:15, for a 15-minute call to talk about what are the important narratives of the day. What is the news that the mainstream narrative completely ignores and that our journalists are covering? So we come together, we share it, we amplify each other, and then at 9:30, we do a separate call of how do we amplify this message and get it to the hands of the American people through distribution. So I'm very proud to say we are 10, actually 12 now, national news organizations and media outlets. We're in all 50 states. We're on the local basis. So I invite you, the ALEC community, if you have a story that's been covered that you want to be amplified, please send to editor@offthepress.com. We're here to amplify your messages that are there. The thing that makes us different is we're aiming to the middle. Newt Gingrich taught me well. You know, you've already got people that agree with us. How do we reach those that need more information to make up their minds? So we aim towards the middle and people that maybe the left has left behind, and that's the secret sauce of how we do it. I'm delighted to have John Solomon as my partner in crime, and John's going to be leading this new effort that the Peterson family made possible as we expand our reach to the Hispanic audience. So, John, you want to say a couple words?
We'd love to. Thank you. What an honor to be here. If my 36 years in journalism haven't taught me anything, the one thing they have taught me is that laboratories of freedom are the states and the state legislatures, and what ALEC does every day to find freedom for Americans. Even when Washington sometimes squanders that freedom, it's a great honor to be in front of you knowing the work that you're doing each day. To the Petersons, I just want to say thank you for believing in this project and believing in Debbie. When we came up with this idea 3 years ago, we never would imagine in 3 short years we'd have an ecosystem that would reach more than 120 million Americans a month. It has grown beyond our wildest imagination. And now we have the fuel to go and reach out to one of the fastest growing parts of our electorate, the fastest growing parts of Main Street America, small business America, the Hispanic community. You saw their extraordinary impact on the 2024 election. They are no longer a constituency of the Democratic Party. They're free agents, as Univision's CEO said recently on my podcast. To keep that engagement going, we need to build new bridges of news. Much of the news, traditional news industry, has leaned left in the Hispanic community. A lot of their viewers actually are much more like you here at ALEC, and they want different sources of news and additional facts, and we're going to try to build on that. I want to just tell you a little story because it sort of, I think, epitomizes what we tried to do when we started the foundation. I was on a plane ride back from Florida just a couple of weeks ago from Miami. A gentleman was in the aisle seat. I was in the window seat. We got lucky. No one was in the middle seat. I always think that's a great moment when we win that, score that moment. He had a veteran's hat on, so I'm a sucker for a good conversation with a veteran. So I reached out and said, thank you for your service. And we talked for a second. I said, what's your name? He said, my name's Harold, but my friends call me Hal. And I said, well, how would you like me to refer to you? He said, well, it depends. What do you do? I said, I'm a journalist. Call me Harold, he said. So I knew I had a good character alongside of me. He served in Vietnam. He served in Gulf War I, then retired in the Navy as a seaman. About halfway into the trip, I popped up my laptop, started writing a story, and he leaned over to me, tapped on me, and said, you know, I just stopped reading news. I don't believe news anymore. And I said, I don't blame you. I'm in the profession. I don't believe a lot of the news I read. And he was kind of startled by it. And I went through my career, how I started at the Associated Press and the Washington Post, and how I ultimately decided to go out on my own and build my own news organization because I didn't believe the organizations that I used to work for were telling the people the American truth. And he said, well, prove to me you can do some good. And he's an African-American fellow. And I said, well, you probably heard about Russia collusion. We clearly helped prove that wasn't true. But I want to tell you about a story about a 9-year-old girl in Atlanta that most people don't know. She had the opportunity to, she was in a school district where there was home school choice. I mean, you could pick the homeroom that you chose, but she was told by her principal, who was a DEI advocate, a CRT advocate, she couldn't go to the homeroom school of her choice because that was the white kids' class. We told that story to America. CNN picked up that story, went all across the country. He looked at me and said, well, what happened to the girl? I said, she got to go to the homeroom school of her choice. And he said, all right, maybe journalism isn't that bad. As we were exiting the plane, he reached over to me, grabbed my hand, and he said, please call me Hal from now on. Those are the sort of moments that Informing America and Debbie and the Petersons have made possible. And in the next year, we're going to build that bridge to Hispanics so that they have news organizations and news content that they can trust. Thank you so much for believing in us. Great honor to be here tonight. Mr. Speaker, great to see you as well, sir. Very good.